Welcome to another edition of No Veteran Left Behind USA's Warrior Wisdom and Wellness. Now here's your host, Diane Young.
Hello everyone, I'm Diane Young, a Marine veteran and happy to be the host of the Warrior Wisdom and Wellness podcast. And I'm excited today to be here with my friend James Lindsay, another Marine, that I have met through the CVI and other veteran resource fairs. So I'm going to welcome James and let you introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll talk more about CVI. Welcome.
Welcome. My name is James Lindsay. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I work for Center for Veterans Issues. My program that I'm with is the Supportive Services for Veterans Families. I've worked for the organization for roughly 13 years. Over that time, I've been involved in just about every service at Center for Veterans Issues, and I do a lot of meetings with other veteran organizations.
Wow, 13 years already.
Yeah, 13 years.
Wow. So what was your experience or what brought you to working there?
What brought me to working with Center for Veterans Issues is my journey after I was discharged from the Corps. I connected with someone from the VA. I was looking for work. I worked with the voc rehab specialist there. I wind up going to college and earning a BA in accounting. After earning that BA, I worked for First Star Bank. I was treasury analyst there, and then they were laying people off, and I was one of the persons that were laid off. From there, I worked with the state of Wisconsin, the DVOPs there, and there was one in particular, Fernando Rodriguez, and he showed me that there was a lot of opportunity with working with the VA in the state of Wisconsin, and from there, I would say I was referred to the state of Wisconsin for employment. So I was a DVOP for a while, and then from there, I was referred to Center for Veterans Issues by Linda Warren, and I started working for, right now it will be Lieutenant Colonel Outlaw. She hired me for Linda Horn, and I worked for the Incarcerated Veteran Transition Program.
Wow. That's a lot of experience right there, and I hear a lot of networking in there too. So did you just naturally go to the VA once you got discharged to get your care there, or did somebody recommend that for you?
Well, in regards to me being connected with the VA, and I would say this, for any veteran that served, the first thing that you should do is go to the hospital to see if you are eligible. That's the first thing. Now, what's great today versus when I was discharged back in '95 is that the VA offers medical service to all veterans. Because when at that time when I was discharged, you had to have some type of service-connected injury in order to be seen by the VA. So with that being said, if you are a veteran, it is in your best interest to see if you qualify for VA benefits.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I asked, because I know when I got out of the Marine Corps, the last thing I wanted to do is go to the VA, and I really didn't until I came through Healing Warrior Hearts, and they recommended that I go. And so I had a great experience at the Madison VA because I live in Janesville,
Okay.
and it sounds like you had a good experience, that it led to some important connections. So I like to share the good stories and the success stories of networking and getting good care at the VA to encourage other veterans, particularly because we know that veterans that are connected with the VA are definitely less likely to consider suicide. So I like to promote that.
I agree.
So that was some really good connections there and networking, which I find really helpful. So kind of what do you do there with the housing?
All right, so for Supportive Services for Veterans Families, SSVF is a short acronym. What we do is we're in 55 counties in the state of Wisconsin. So roughly, I would say we go up to the UP all the way down to the border of Illinois. So we cover roughly every county, just about every county except Dane in Wisconsin. It's a great program for any veteran. It's a housing first program, which means the veteran doesn't have to have income. Evictions is not an issue. As long as the veteran is at risk of being homeless, or if they're homeless, they qualify. It's one of the greatest programs I ever heard of, because what we can do for a veteran that is homeless, we can provide them a security deposit and 3 months of rental assistance. That's a lot. That's enough to get someone on their feet. And what we have as well is wraparound services, where we do referrals to our employment department. And we have a good staff. The employment staff is a great staff at getting veterans hired at jobs, because the goal is, besides providing the veteran temporary financial assistance, putting them into housing, we want them to be able to maintain that housing once we're somewhat out of the picture. It's a 90-day program for us. So for 90 days, the veteran will be in contact with a case manager at least once a month, but we try to do a little bit more than that, to see what's going on with that veteran as it relates to their housing stability. If they were homeless, did they locate housing? If they were a case where they was at risk of being evicted, that they will let us know what's going on. Like if the landlord is having problems understanding how the program works, we do have an attorney that we work with as well that can represent veterans if they do go to court.
Nice. Now, is this exclusive to veterans from the Milwaukee area?
Actually, no. Like I said, SSVF, Center for Veterans Issues, we have 55 counties in the state of Wisconsin, so that's roughly the entire state.
Wow.
We don't do Madison, but there is another organization there that has a grant that does Madison.
Okay.
So SSVF, it's available to any veteran throughout the county of state of Wisconsin.
Okay. I'll have to look into that, because I know in Janesville they just had a big housing problem and people being evicted. I don't remember the details, but
Right.
I can definitely share that information. That's great. So 13 years, and how long has the CVI been around?
Actually, we've been around for 35 years. It has a rich history. It stems from the veterans that were coming back from Vietnam, and it has a rich history, and that's why I enjoy. Even after 13 years, it seemed like it's been a blink of an eye. I gotta tell you.
So you've been there almost half of their time, huh?
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
Almost like furniture, huh?
Yeah, there you
Good.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be a great feeling to work with the veterans there.
And the staff that we work with as well.
Yeah, I've met a lot of them, and they've been great people. Now, I know that you all have a golf outing coming up. Do you
Yes.
golf in that too, or?
I do not. I know the game, but I don't golf. I used to be a caddy when I was 13.
Oh,
but,
okay.
So I know the game, but no, I don't golf.
Yeah. All right. You're probably stuck helping organize it and promote
There you
it.
go.
All right, good. Well, any event that brings veterans together and helps them understand more of the support that's available for them is definitely priceless. So thank you for all that you're doing there and sharing these resources for all to benefit from. I appreciate that. And before we run out of time, is there anything else that you wanted to share about your experience there at CVI or as a Marine?
I would say this. The biggest thing, any veteran has served, regardless of your discharge, you need to fellowship with other veterans. You need to fellowship with other veterans. One of the biggest things is there's a lot of programs, especially in the state of Wisconsin. State of Wisconsin and working with the VA, the state of Wisconsin is great on the way in which they work with veterans and provide services to them. I mean, the state of Wisconsin, they love their veterans. And I would say that with the services that are available to veterans is like a puzzle pieces. And like you have like we had Ken Qualis on earlier, where he spoke of the R&R aspect of, you know, the stressors of being a veteran and dealing with life stresses, and, you know, and then we have an employment section, then we have a housing section, then we have an education section, then we have a benefits section. So it's like when it comes to veteran services, and even including non-veteran services, because we use all of them if they're necessary, such as you have Section 8 for non-veterans, and then you have HUD-VASH for veterans. But if you take all of these pieces of the puzzle, you can have a sustainable life. You can have a decent life. Those services are there for veterans because you served. And I would say lastly, again, fellowship with a veteran organization or just a veteran on the street, because a lot of times these programs and services, they're not promulgated, they're not put out there. It's word of mouth from a veteran to a veteran. And then lastly, what I would say about Center for Veterans Issues is what we provide besides temporary financial assistance, besides employment and counseling and stuff like that. Besides those services that we provide, the biggest thing that we provide to veterans when they walk out of that office is hope. Is hope. That's the biggest thing that we provide.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for being here and sharing all these resources, James. I hope that you all that are seeing this will look into the Center for Veterans Issues and see what benefits that you could enjoy and share with other veterans. So again, I'm Diane Young, and I'm really glad that you're here today, and I hope that you will get connected, like James said, and fellowship with other veterans.
The SSV program is supportive services for veterans' families. The main focus of the SSV program is promoting housing stability among very low-income veteran families who reside in or are transitioning to permanent housing. They provide temporary financial services in all aspects of rental housing. For more information on these services, you can contact James Lindsay, SSV Case Manager, at the number displayed on the screen.